Are you ready to shake a tail feather with the Queen of Rock and Roll? Tina the Tina Turner musical arrives at the Fisher Theater on November 1st as a part of the Broadway and Detroit season. And today we're talking with one of the cast members of the national tour, Bernice. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for joining us. I know that you're currently you're in North Carolina, you're currently busy, but are so excited to talk to you today about this incredible musical.
I'm very excited. I love talking about Tina.
Speaking of Tina Turner, right off the bat, what is it like stepping into a world of such an icon? Because that has to be so cool just to be in a musical about the Queen of Rock and Roll.
It's incredible, and it's also really hard at the same time. Tina lived a life, like she lived. But being able to be here and to be able to carry her legacy is something that I take pride in. So it's great. I love it here.
Now, the show itself, it kind of covers like really early, like on in her life throughout her career, correct?
Hmm.
So, what is about her journey or her story really stood out to you and made you want to audition for this show?
All of it, actually. The fact that she lived such a vast life really inspired me. Like the parallels of how she grew up and her upbringing, and then her turning that around and becoming successful is something that's always inspired me. So I had to do this. I had to.
Truly, she was such an inspiration to so many people. I mean, and she had such a career that expanded decades. Like her power was just like none other, you know?
Yes.
Why do you think it's so important to explore stories such as Tina Turner's? Because I mean, I think that we see quite an expansion of, stories such as hers. But why is it important, do you think?
Tina is history. Her music kind of encapsulate each decade, like she was able to capture the time in her music, if that makes sense. And I think it's important that we keep her story alive, just because she's been through so much with abuse and all the things that she had to go through. I think it's just still important to open that discussion. Her life opens that discussion for other people to talk about it and talk about it openly.
Which is such I'm a psychologist during my day job, so it's really cool to see a show that doesn't maybe shy away from some of those um, really important topics, such as like you said, abuse and
Hmm.
kind of what it was to be a marginalized and how people are still marginalized, for being woman, a person of color. It's really cool that you guys are talking about some of that in the show.
Yes, it's absolutely amazing. It's healing too, on top of it. There's some healing that goes on stage. Like when we do our last scene, you can hear people grieving. And I think that's a beautiful thing to kind of open up that dialogue.
At times in the rehearsal process, kind of going through that, was that heavy or like before, like you got to the relief, like kind of having to experience that at first? Was there a heaviness to that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. A lot of Zelma's things are so pointed and so hard. So for me as a person that's not like that in my normal everyday life, it was really hard for me. I'm like, whoa, this is difficult to live in. Uh but just having the support of my castmates and having the support of the creative team made it so much easier. But it was definitely an obstacle to kind of get over.
So speaking of Zelma, because you're playing Zelma Bullock,
Yes, I
who
am.
is Zelma to you? Or like what is kind of her narrative throughout the show?
I come from a place with Zelma where I have to not judge her for who she is. Zelma was a woman of her time. She is the product of her environment. A lot of the things that Tina went through, Zelma also went through. So Zelma is the matriarch, and it may not look like how people are used to matriarchs looking. Um, but she was an important figure in Tina's life, and I think the show kind of reflects it.
Is being the matriarch, that probably was a lot of weight on her shoulders, and so there's probably a lot of weight on your shoulders to convey that on stage.
Absolutely. Zelma was a real person. So every time I step on stage, I want to make sure that I honor her legacy and honor her memory because she was someone who lived.
What is your process for kind of bringing her to the stage, especially because this was, like you said, a real person? There's somebody to base this off of in a way, but also you're playing a character, you're trying to make it your character. Do you have a process for that?
Lots and lots of research. And not just seeing it from Tina's eyes, but also diving deeper into who Zelma was to other people. I think we see everybody shows one version of themselves to people, but there are other versions that we show up as. So I wanted to know what those other versions were. Also, reaching out to other people like Roz White, who played Zelma, I believe, on the first national tour. I reached out to her to see what her process kind of was and how she kind of dealt with playing Zelma 8 shows a week for months and months on end because it's certainly not easy. And she just reminded me to take care of myself because it's not easy to kind of live in this. But and I'm on myself. I'm also, a daughter and a granddaughter. So I've seen these matriarchs come and go, and I've seen how women have had to present themselves and survive because that's Zelma's main intent is survival. So just lots and lots and lots of research.
It's almost like a never-ending job because you're always trying to learn more about who this person was that you are playing.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You had mentioned that, you're trying to just see who Zelma was, not through Tina's eyes, but, also as just a whole person. Do you think the show does a good job of really looking at, who these people are through a very, like, I should say, like an open lens, kind of exploring them of who they are as a person, or is it kind of really focused on Tina's vision or look through life?
I think that we see the story through Tina's eyes, but I think Katori Hall did a perfect job of making these people really be fleshed out. So we see all versions of Zelma. Like we see Zelma from the beginning of at least Tina's journey, and then we see Zelma, at her death. So we see like this broad span of Zelma, not just the Zelma that that the movie is portrayed or the book portrayed or all the things have portrayed. Like we really see a full scale of Zelma. So I think that it does it perfectly. Like we really see who she is here because she wasn't just someone that was hard and stern and giving reprimands and all the things. She was also very funny. She was also very hilarious, and I think we get to see all of that in the show.
What I love about that too is that a lot of times people who have been through kind of trauma or been through like maybe a tougher life, which it sounds like maybe Zelma was, they
Hmm.
do try to find some humor in that. And that's kind of how they survive, or like one of the ways that they kind of work through that trauma.
Absolutely, you have to laugh. You have to laugh.
Absolutely. So not only is this a story that so many people are beloved, because I mean Tina Turner is a beloved musical icon, but it's also a jukebox musical that explores a lot of music of hers. Um, what's it like bringing some of those popular songs to a different format, such as like a musical, like because sometimes they make changes, sometimes there's different compositions. But what is it like to bring that to stage?
Oh, it is so incredible. The artists that I get to work with, like I pinch myself every single day just listening to this music. Sometimes I'm sitting back here and I'm like, oh my God, is this really my life? Like that's really Tina Turner's music. I'm singing it, they're singing it, and we're all here. This is great.
Do you have a favorite number to perform, or even a favorite song you just like to hear every single night when you're out there?
My favorite number in the show as of this moment, because it changes almost daily, is Private Dancer. It's just so good. It's just so good.
What is it about that song that really stands out to you?
The bass line is incredible in Private Dancer. That's one. All of our Tinas just sing it so well. And I think it shows like full range of like Tina's lower notes and then into her just in your face, growling, screaming, singing, just, oh, it's so good. I love listening to it every night.
That is so cool. And it sounds like they really have captured who Tina is, which has to be really hard because again, when you're casting for this, you want to make sure like people are coming to see Tina, they want to see Tina, And so finding somebody who can really capture that energy and that the vocal range that she had.
Yes, and they do it so well. They do it so, so well.
I hope for a moment it's okay. I was going to switch to talking about you because you've had such an incredible journey. You were on the second national tour of Come From Away, which is an incredible show. We recently got to see that. You were in Ragtime. You were in The Color Purple. What's kind of been your journey through musical theater that led you to Tina the musical?
Well, I started off singing like Tina. I started off very young in church singing. My older sister was into musical theater, and I was like, hey, that's cool. Why don't I do that? So I got bit by the musical theater bug, and I've literally not stopped since.
That's so cool. And you got to be in so many incredible shows with so many, I mean, Ragtime and The Color Purple. Like these are some huge shows. What has been kind of like a stand? Like when was the moment you're like, oh, wow, I made it? Like what was the kind of that it hit you?
I did The Color Purple twice last year. I did it at a home theater back home in New Jersey, and then I also did it with the Pennsylvania Shakespeare Festival. And booking that and actually doing it, I asked the Lord. I said, "Look, if you let me do Sophie again, I'm going to do my big one. I'm going to do it." And He allowed me to do it, and I ripped the stage apart. Had to. So that was like my mama. I made it. I'm here moment, and things have just been getting better since then.
That is so incredible. And again, the role of Sophia is a great one. Like I could only imagine just how much you killed that. That had to be such a great moment to be like, "Yep, I'm here. I've done it."
Yep.
And now you're here in Tina, and
Now I'm here in
with Tina,
Tina.
with Tina specifically, how has the show pushed you as an actor?
It's forced me to be more open. It's forced me to listen. It's forced me to be a better person. You have to show up for the people here. This show is beautiful. It's beautiful, but there are so many heavy things that are going on. So I want to be a better person, not just for me, but for the people that are around me, and do whatever I can to support them.
That and speaking of heaviness, you'd mentioned that you really are trying to you have to kind of put your mental health first, prioritize that with such a heavy role and stuff like that. How do you do that on the road? Because I mean, that could be hard when you're constantly moving places. You're stopping different cities. How do you prioritize your mental health?
I have to make sure that I make time. I'm a girly that loves to get her nails done. So I make sure that I'm making those appointments when I can to get my mani and pedi done, making sure that I'm checking at home with my kids and my family. Just prioritizing things like that for me. It's helped me take care of my mental health.
Which is that is super important, little
Hmm.
things like that people don't always think about, but like that is investing in your mental health by taking time to get a manicure and a pedicure.
Yeah, it's the small things. And then you just build from there.
Absolutely. So with there being so many themes, both heavy and light, we're exploring a whole lifetime, a whole icon's life. What themes from this show really resonate with you or with where you're at in your life currently?
Resilience. That's the one thing that sticks out to me throughout this whole show. Even as a little girl, Tina had to be resilient. And that's something that I've also had to be in my own life. And to just remember to continue that. Just because I'm here, you still have to keep fighting. You still have to keep getting over those obstacles. And you can, because if Tina Turner could do it, so can I.
I love that. And I think that's something that so many people really need to hear right now is that even when things feel bad,
Hmm.
we have to keep persevering because there is better things around the corner.
There's still hope. There is still hope.
Absolutely. And I hope that's something that audiences take away from this production. But is there anything else that you're really hoping that they take away from the Tina Turner musical?
Just her legacy and how beautiful, absolutely beautiful inside and out this woman was. Like she fought hard and then she became successful, but the life she lived before the success is something that everybody needs to take from. That you can go through all of these things and you can still make it happen. You just got to believe. And she believed in herself. So as long as you believe in yourself, you can make anything happen.
I think what's beautiful about that too is that she didn't necessarily always show the tough parts in the
Mhm.
public eye, which obviously it just shows to both her resilience and stuff like that. But like you would never have known that there was a difficult life behind that because she was always such a shining example of kind of light and happiness and energy
Yes,
through
absolutely.
her music and stage presence.
Absolutely, absolutely. She was grace and love and just beauty in all its forms. She was an incredible woman.
Well, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been such a pleasure talking with you, and we are so excited to see this musical when it arrives.
Oh, I'm so excited to be back at the Fisher. I can't wait.
So, the Tina Turner musical arrives at the Fisher Theater November 21st and runs through the 23rd. So, get your tickets now from Broadway in Detroit, and we'll see you at the show.
See ya.